Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. I hope everyone is enjoying their their week. Tomorrow is Halloween, so if you have candy, make sure you get to eat some candy. Before we proceed, as always, like, subscribe, follow, whether on YouTube, Apple Podcast, or Spotify, as well as social media, Instagram, TikTok at the Red Devils Corner Kick Pod, and on X at RD Corner Kick Pod. Thank you to the new recent subscribers, followers, for joining my channel on YouTube, as well as on social media, whether it's TikTok, X, or Instagram. Thank you to all those who are showing support. So I do greatly appreciate it. It is a late Thursday night, getting everything ready for the weekend. We have a big matchup on Saturday. Today's episode is dedicated to that match. And again, as always, I will be back after Saturday's match for Manchester United, doing the post game, just to discuss the game against Nottingham Forest. So, actually, before I get into it as well, obviously there's been stuff in the news, targets, transfers, looking at that potentials. I know this game is kind of big, kind of like last week with Brighton with Carlos Baliba. We have Elliot Anderson, who is a rumored potential target for the January transfer window or next summer. Cost of 100 to 120 million pounds has been rumored for what Nottingham Forest is looking at. So, yeah, that's kind of the situation that we're here. Obviously, the May news or transfer news are still there. Amber potentially blocking that, which kind of all leads together with brings in Anderson in the transfer window plus AFCON, which is what I mentioned all last episode as well. So that has been coming up as well. So just keep an eye on it as the couple of weeks goes on. I will talk about it as we get closer, especially with, again, Mbeumo, Dalot, and Mazraoui all leaving. So, or not Dalot, Ahmad. No, Dalot plays for Portugal. Ahmad Diallo, Mazraoui, and Mbeumo all leaving for AFCON, at least early December, because I believe it's the 18th to the 17th of December to the 18th of January. That's the last day of AFCON. That's the final. But yes, that has been going on. But let's go into what's happening. I mentioned a little bit on my Tuesday episode. Don't forget episodes every Tuesday and Thursday, and then always after games as well. I will try to do post games of the women's squad as best as I can. Obviously, with them in Champions League, we do have Champions League matchup next week. I believe next week is PSG. Women are back this weekend facing Brighton. I believe that is on Sunday. That's who they're playing. So men on Saturday, women on Sunday, and then women have the Champions League as well. But okay, let's get to the main thing, the main dish for today. Let's start talking about Nottingham Forest. Let's start talking about the matchup against Nottingham Forest. Okay, so Saturday we do have the game against them. I mentioned a little bit on Tuesday's episode going into it how we don't want to treat this like a trap game. And if you don't know what a trap game is, it's a game where a team can be at the very bottom, like one of the last place teams, a team that's going through trouble, heartache, changes, like Nottingham Forest has been. They're on their third manager this season. And we go in expecting to win and we lose. And again, what's tough is we're on the road. We're there. We're coming. We're playing a hot streak right now. Let's not hide that. All right. You see the media, you see the fan channels, you see everyone basically over the moon, but not staying calm. Ruben Amorim's doing a fantastic job at that. The player, he's trying to make sure everything is still level because again, he knows the squad way better than we do. He's with them day in and day out. He sees them at training. He knows exactly who they are. He knows what can happen with the squad. one wrong move, wrong step, and it can go downhill, and you're experiencing a quicksand moment. Just error after error after error, and you're just stuck in the mud. You just can't get out of it. You just can't keep moving on from it. You just can't find a way to make yourself better. But here we are. This is where we have to look at it. But yes, but right now we have to make sure we're ready to go. We're on a 3-game win streak. Sunderland before the international break, the big win at Anfield, and the win against Brighton. And don't get me wrong, it's fantastic to see. Let's not pretend. But let's also remember this. The way we started our season wasn't the great. We have faced some of the top teams in the league right off the bat. And we have struggled, and we're not playing in Europe either. So that is the struggle. For Crystal Palace, not for Crystal Palace, for Nottingham Forest, they won their first game, drew the next, and then they went on a tough losing streak. West Ham, Arsenal, losing to Swansea in the Carlsberg Cup, draw against Burnley, and then you had a draw against Betis in Europa. But again, what happened in the Prem kept hitting there. So again, like I mentioned, West Ham was a loss. Arsenal, the draw with Burnley. Then you go to Forest. You go to Sunderland and lose. You lose to Newcastle. You drop 3 against Porto. You drop 3. You get 3 scored on you from Chelsea. With Chelsea getting a red card, you lose 2-0 to Bournemouth. So yes, it's great that they got a win in the Europa, but the focus is the Prem. Even then, they lost in Europa as well. So they have 1 win, 1 loss, and 1 draw. But in the Prem, it wasn't the best. And that led to them losing Ange he was dismissed. The way things went with them at the start of the season. Just give me a moment here. Just want to get one thing. So just want to get something updated here. Just want to take a look here because I always forget the manager's name. The Ange Postecoglou who took over. Just give me one moment here. I do apologize. Just trying to get up all the information because, again, I always try to remember the manager from Forest before Ange. Just getting this information here. Yes. Nuno Espirito Santo. So yes, obviously we saw issues with Nuno last year. We saw Carrington this year. And then he left September. And like I mentioned, when he was there September, it was the 25th. He was facing an uphill battle. Like, again, he beat Brentford, came out with a draw against Crystal Palace, who's been playing very well. But when you go on a streak of losing to West Ham, Arsenal, Swansea, a draw against Burnley, and then not winning against Betis, and they were up 2-0 on Betis when they came out of that game, going into that game. I remember watching it. When I was watching it, you saw they went up quick, they started to score, and then they were able to get themselves back into the game, Betis. So we saw that going on. Actually, no, Dyche wasn't there yet. Ange was still there. No, Nuno should have still been there for that manager match. I don't know why it's showing us Sean Dyche for that it's showing him as the manager now. But since then, yes, it has. Now they're on their third manager with Sean Dyche. Obviously, not having things going on because, again, when Podge took over, you saw things not go well. It just carried over. So you saw the carryover effect from Santo to Ange, now Sean Dyche, and we're starting to see what will happen. We know what Sean Dyche is like. We've seen him manage at Everton. We know he is a capable manager. He has done very well, especially what he did at Burnley, then came to Everton. He got them a win last. He's gotten them actually 2 wins. Them beating them in Porto, and then, just 1 win, and then they lost to Bournemouth last weekend. Correction. 1 win in Europa, and then they lost to Bournemouth last weekend. So you can say it's up and down, but in the Prem, that's what's important. So they are struggling. So like I said, we can't let this be a trap game. That's what I'm trying to leave it there as. This cannot be a trap game, so we have to look at it that way. But we have to keep focusing on what United are. We have to be consistent, disciplined, and finish. We have to do those things, and we have been the last 3 wins, which is great. But can we do it for a 4th? And I don't want to be jumping at Tottenham the week after because that's the next game, but this is the game I want to focus on. We're on the road. We have struggled on the road. We have to be better. We have to play smart. Our D has to be great. They have to contain the shots. Again, this isn't the same Forest that we faced last year. And that Forest team, I'm going to say, they kicked the shit out of us. If I were to go back, I will go back. Because I watched a highlight today of the Elanga just going from north to south very quickly on us and scoring. April 25th, we lost to them 1-0. And then I remember, what was it, Christmas time? Yeah, December 7th, 2024, we lost to them 3-2. So, yeah, they've beaten us. And then if I were to see how far back I can go. Because I remember the comeback. Yeah, Ten Hag? Ten Hag 20. Yeah, the year before. Let's just go. Was it 2023? So we lost December 30th to them. And then I remember the comeback. Yeah, it was 2023. What was it? Yeah, 3-2 Nottingham Forest 2023. So we haven't beaten Forest since 2023. And they have been the better team. They have. We have struggled. But again, we're not the same team as we were those times, and they're not the same team as they were those times. Am I expecting a win this weekend? I'm always going to go for a win for United. You know that. Every podcast, when I do a preview, I'm always going to say I'm going to go with United for the win. Will this be a tough win? Yes. I shouldn't say this. It shouldn't again, in my mind, it will be a tough win. It's going to be a tough game. They have to make sure that they're good to go. And they have a good squad. Sean Dyche knows how to play. He knows how to use his players, and he knows how to play against Manchester United. So we'll see how everything works out. Because I believe when we played Everton last year, let me get the United schedule. Let me just go back to where was United. Okay. It's back. Check. Yeah, because the last time when we played Everton, because David Moyes took over for Sean Dyche. When we played, that was a friendly. But if we're going back last season, we drew against Everton in February, and then when did we last play them? Yes, Ten Hag beat. Was Dyche then still there? At the time, let me just pull that up. Actually, Sean Dyche may have already been gone before that. But yeah, we beat Everton 4-0. But yeah, again, that was a different time. That was not we were at the beginning a different squad, and we all know how that happened. But yes, we know. Sean Dyche was still the manager there when Amram did play. So this will be the second time Amram has faced Sean Dyche. So am I going to go into the press conferences that were said this week? No. Or said today? No. Everyone knows what's in there. We know what Sean Dyche has said. We know what Ruben has said. It's there. No need to repeat. But we United have to, again, let's go into what United need to focus on. They need to focus on the attack. They need to make sure the ball is moving in transition. We have to make sure that we're not getting overrun in the mid. And what we have to prevent from last year was when we did play them under Santos's Nottingham Forest, we can't let them get the breakouts. We can't let players just be able to walk through. As much as I know Elanga is not there, he's off at Newcastle now. But they're still a decent squad. They can still potentially get that one movement where we're there and they're gone. And we would have to wait and see on how things go, but you can never predict what's going to happen. You can just take a guess. That's what it is. But when we're looking at it here, you have to see them run for it. But United have to be able to contain. They have to control the ball. Listen, the long ball has been working. Lemens makes great distributions. You have Sesko, who knows how to protect the ball and move it forward, and so on and so forth. So that's what it is. But you have to see what the plan is. What is Ruben going to do? That's what I should be kind of leading towards. Is Amram going to be using the same lineup as last week, or is he going to use something similar like he did towards Liverpool? For me, when I'm doing my lineup, I am keeping everything the exact same as he did last week. It has to be the same. Consistency. You want to deal with players who are healthy. That's what it is. But we have to make sure that the players are getting the ball moved. And I think the lineup that he used last week has to be the exact same as it was this week. Because, again, you saw the movement of Cunha, you saw the movement of Sesko, and you saw in Mbuemo the way things worked out up front. Again, 3 goals, 1 assist from all of them, which is great. That's what we want from our attack. And you have our midfield, which is our question mark, with Casemiro and Bruno. Last week, the legs, the 1 game a week, is helping Casemiro rejuvenate himself for a game. So we have that going. We have the wingers, and you can put up a debate. Ahmad, he solidified the right wing back. Now, when we get to December, that's another question, and that's another episode to talk about. But the right wing back is his spot. That's his to lose. We have, on the left side, Delo and Dorgu. Now, no offense to Dorgu, but Amram was seeing something where he may be struggling. And you saw him come on last week, and you saw that there. So it has a concern of whether him and Delo are just going to battle it out, with right now Delo taking the lead in that. And Delo does struggle, but he's doing things based on his experience a little bit better than what Dorgu is doing. Again, Dorgu is still young. I'm not throwing in the towel on him. He's going to develop. He will get better. Again, he just turned 21. And he just joined us last January, ladies and gentlemen. Come on. But I think this will make him better. It will. I think it will make him better. And you can depend on the D. Listen, and I know a lot of people are going to be wanting Licha to start as soon as possible. Licha just literally walked back into the league. Not into the league, to the team. He's just back on training now. In his mind, he should be starting on Saturday. In Amram's mind, he needs time. And even in my opinion, he needs time. Time to just get himself ready to go and be there. So, what is my lineup going to be like going into Sunday? Well, like I said, we have to make sure that we're disciplined with the ball. The long ball, yeah, it's great from the keeper. We have the big bodies that can move, carry it, and pass it. But we have to be consistent for what we've been doing. again, I'm always going to preach consistency, discipline, and finish. That's what it is. That's what the squad has to do, game in and game out. And I don't want to talk about transfers or anything, but we have to be prepared for this game. And everyone has to be there, and everyone has to be level-headed. We're on the road, and we're facing a team that is struggling. Usually, if this was the type of game, this is the type of game Manchester United would probably fall apart. It would be. In my mind, this is the type of game, depending on from past players that we had, the mentality, we would have a struggle with this game. That's what I don't want. But I think the mentality of the players now that we've seen is there. But again, the players have to show up. I don't care about the high. I don't care about the win streak. I just care about them going into Nottingham and winning. And that's what they have to do. So my lineup going into this game, again, Lamens is the solidified starter. It's his spot to lose. So Lamens is our starter. Euro will be back as the starting lineup. I know Maguire had his knocks last week, but I think for how well Euro has played, especially with him and De Ligt, you have to keep him there. De Ligt, that is his spot. He is there. Luke Shaw, who has been playing well, that's his spot as well. Leave him there. Again, I mentioned Ahmad. That's his right wing back spot. That's his spot to lose, and it's his. It's his. As much as we have Mazraoui back and bodies, and we're at that point, like I've mentioned, so many bodies for depth is great now, but again, it can be a bad thing because players want minutes. Casemiro, Bruno stay the same. Actually, the one thing about Luke Shaw is, as much as Leach is back, and when Leach is fit, I'm still giving the spot to Luke Shaw. Nothing against Leach. It's just Luke Shaw has done enough this season to maintain it, and you have to let Leach fight for that spot back. It shouldn't be guaranteed to him to be back already. Luke Shaw should be there. I mentioned Bruno Casemiro in the middle. Diego Dalot, boom, starter right there. Nothing against Dorgu. But again, I think Ruben's going to go with something I think he would go something similar. For all we know, he brings back Dorgu into the starting lineup. It could be a toss-up. But I think, like I said, last week started against Liverpool. Have him start this as well against Forest. And then the same front three, Mbuemo, Sesko, Cunha. Like, they're there. You saw how well they played like last week. And you had the mental slips up last week. We can't have that there. Though they were all good goals, you have to make sure everyone's there. And for the rotation of players, depending on how the game situation is, we'll see Kobe, we'll see Ugarte. I'm sure we're going to see Mazraoui come in. Who else is there from Mazraoui? Mount may get in, Xerxes may get in, Aiden Heaven may get in, Maguire may get in. So we have the right pieces there to go. So we just have to be smart with the ball and make sure that we're being consistent. Make sure we can't get everyone behind our defense. We have to watch the long balls. We have to watch the big plays. We can't let anyone like last year go from, like I mentioned, Alenka, from their end to ours in whatever time to score. We can't have that in this type of game. So again, I don't want to, it does seem like a trap game. And I even mentioned it about Liverpool. Like, Liverpool could seem to us like a trap game and vice versa, just because everything laid up. But this is the type of game that can be concerning. This is the type of game we can't fall asleep on because of what's going on with the situation at Nottingham Forest. We can't let that be there. We can't, we have to play to the game that we have been playing, to say the least. So, but again, we know what can happen with the squad. We know what the struggles are. But we have to see them continue with that as well. And they have to play smart with it. They have to go in and fight for a win. They have to go in and play well. They can't let slip-ups happen like they did with Brighton, a poor pass. Like I mentioned, Brighton last week. One poor pass and you're back in it. It's the truth. We were up 3-0. The Dorgu pass that should have been a little bit more wider and a better pass, better control with the ball. and should not have led out to that breakout play. That's the one thing that could happen. So we have to be aware of everything. So again, I mentioned consistency. We have to play well. Ball, like again, consistently continuing how we've been playing the last few games. Discipline, controlling the ball, passing the ball, no reckless passes, and finishing. When we get those opportunities, we have to finish those shots. Get the ball into the net, behind the keeper. We have to be there. So that is the one thing the squad needs to do. We cannot just let things go down. We have to make sure that we're in that spot and we have to control. Dyche has his motivation. These players have the motivation. Our players have to have motivation, and they have to realize that they cannot just fall apart and crumble when the game is on the line. There's been points to see in those win streaks when they've had those opportunities and they've, the threat has been there. They've bounced back, but can they bounce back? Can they do it 3 times in a row? To say the least, can they do it 3 times in a row? And that's the big question. Can they consistently do it? Can they make sure it doesn't keep happening? So yeah, one more time, my lineup. It's going to be Lamens, Yoro, Delit, Shaw in the back, Ahmad, Casemiro, Fernandes, and Delo, Mbuemo, Sesko, and Cunha. So that will be my lineup for that. So again, always going for a win, always hoping that we can close out the games, take a win on the road, because that's key as well. So, but yeah, I'm going to leave the episode there, to say the least. I will be back Saturday after the match to talk about the pregame, to look into everything. So make sure we're keeping an eye. So just keep an eye out for that, as well as make sure to always follow on Instagram, TikTok, and X. And don't forget to like, subscribe, follow, whether on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. And then once again, thank you to all those who have subscribed to the YouTube channel. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, or X. I am slowly trying to get my social media presence there, but it will take time. But yes, again, thank you to everyone who has been liking the channel too. So greatly appreciate it as well. So yeah, I'll be back Saturday with the post-game reaction as well. If anything does break or anything huge that needs to be discussed, I'll try to get an episode out. But enjoy the rest of your week. Enjoy your Halloween as well. And then enjoy the game on Saturday. I'll see you guys after the match. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.